What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Crash Course Metal Show. I'm your host, Krash, and we got our buddy here coming back with us, AJ. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? It's been a minute, long
It
time.
has, it has, but like I said, we'll be getting together next week, and that'll be fun for a show. So, but that's not why we all called here today. So we called today basically to do a review of the 1989 Pretty Boy Floyd album, Leather Boys with Electric Toys. So, okay, so yes, like I said, 1989. It did hit 130 in the Billboard charts, but it didn't go gold or platinum or anything. But I will say I got two music videos, Rock and Roll, It's Gonna Set the Night on Fire, and I Want to Be With You, correct? So I believe those were the only two singles. And so you got Steve Summers on vocalist here, and you got Christy Krash on guitars, Vinny Chaz, I believe you say it, on bass, and then Kerry Kane on the drums.
Right.
So, yes, so why do you want to talk about the sound so much, AJ? Why'd you want to? Because I asked you what album do you want to do when you come on, and we agreed on Pretty Boy Floyd. So what is it about the sound that you like, or just a little overview on your past with it?
It was just when I first saw the first video, and I was like, "What is this?" And it's like the most glammiest band besides Poison that you ever saw. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was, when you're younger, you're like, "What is this?" You know. But just the first song, the first video, it was like, it was just it was like caught my attention like automatically. And just their look and the whole video. And it was, like I said, it was like the glammy, cheesy, 80s band thing. You know what I mean?
So like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's great, and I mean, it was just one of those bands I was like, oh, I need to find out who this is, and I got their tape back in the day, and I played it. Yeah. I played it a lot. And I mean, and then they were on Hairbangers Ball and excuse me, Headbangers Ball. And that's when I kind of got into them a little bit more, and but here lately, all these years I've just been following them and helping them out, and it's basically Steve Summers' band, but still it's like, I don't know, it's just their music is just really good, and they don't get a lot of credit at all. But
I was gonna say, because you don't hear the name being thrown around a lot, Pretty Boy Floyd, when you're talking about hair bands and such. And meanwhile, like you said, they are the next Poison. They're like the what was the second Poison Junior, you could say, or so. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, basically, I think for me, I will say I'll give a little bit of my overview here with my past with this. So I was like, 12, 13, 14 years old, going through, let me just go through YouTube and look at all these hair bands, it was plenty to go around, that early in my life. So, and then I bought this album or a CD off eBay, and when I was like 13, and for like $5 or something, and I opened it up when I got it, and it was signed here. I don't know who it's to. Like, it looks like it says to Ice. So I don't know if Steve or Christy or any of them remember who Ice is. Maybe, I don't know. But so it's pretty cool. It's not like made out to me or anything, but it's still signed by the band. So that's kind of cool, So
it was signed by all members, right?
Yeah. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. You can't complain. Just picked it up randomly, and I'm like, hell yeah. So, but yeah, pretty much I had this out in the last 15 plus years of my life, and like you said, it is a staple, and I don't know, I can see what you're saying as underrated, but other than the two singles though, is there any other song that you think that could have been a better single, or that would have hit off a little bit?
Your mama won't know. definitely. But I mean, I like that a lot. And Wild Angels should have been a hit.
Well,
You know,
I was gonna say when we get to the track list, but since you brought that up, I'll bring it up to to everyone's attention here. Wild Angels and I Want to Be With You, both good ballads, but a little different style of ballad. You know what I mean? Like I Want to Be With You, like chorus and such like that, but as a song in other parts, I like Wild Angels better. You know, I don't know. Like, do you have any feel of that? You know, like between the two ballads.
I like them both, but I think Wild Angels was like one of those ballads that I can just like, oh, let me hear it again. You know, I would never get tired of it if it became big. You know what I mean? Like it was just one of those songs, you know?
Oh, yeah, I gotcha. So we'll just jump into the track listings here. So you got the first track, Leather Boys with Electric Toys, you know, great opening track. I think this is possibly the fastest song on the album. Yeah, maybe the hardest is the opening track, Leather Boys with Electric Toys. What do you think? Anything on the opening track?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's probably the heaviest one. Okay. You're right.
So I would probably say for me, definitely a top 3 song on the album for me. Just Leather Boys. It's just really good. It puts you in the headspace of where they're going to take you, you know, like what the mood of the album is going to be. So that's kind of like what I think. And then you have the great 1-2 punch basically here. First, the opening track, Leather Boys, and then you got the second one, which was one of the singles, Rock and Roll is Going to Set the Night on Fire.
Right.
So what you have anything to say on either one of those two here?
The first track is always, that's what they always start out with when they go out on tour. Well, you know, that's pretty much the opening song, regardless.
Let me just say real quick, I forgot to mention Leather Boys, the song. I could imagine that's a great live track. You know, like seeing it live. It probably brings it to life so much. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean I think that's like one of the ones that, you know, just automatically it starts out, you know, you play the album.
Right.
Yeah, definitely a great live track, and just the beginning of it just hits you like once when you start. Like I said, once when you start the album, it's just like, who is this? You know what I mean? So, but it's great. It's a great live track, seriously, and it's a great starting track for an album.
I agree 100% with that. So, and then Rock and Roll. Anything to say on that one there too?
Yeah, so the first track, man, the first video, sorry, it's this put them on the map pretty much and give everybody a look of who they were, you know, and that's always going to be one of their songs, you know, that's going to be like, oh, I remember this song when, you know, when they see them live and all that. So yeah, I mean, it's never going to fade. It's a great song.
It is. Yeah, it is like a really good single, you know, like it is one of the 2 songs that I would pick as a single. You know, like it certainly has a hook to it. Good solo. You know, everyone's doing their thing. Now, I will say, since I'm thinking about it here, I'm going to say, what do you think of the production of this album as a whole?
I mean, there's so many.
Do you think it's a little too clean, you know, sounding, or like do you think it needs a little bit more edge? Like they had like their songs and then the band has an edge, but like when I'm listening to this, I feel like it's a little too polished, you know, to an extent, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
It was.
So well, and what makes me think of that is like the closest thing I could compare it to is like this album would sound like, if anyone's familiar with Alley Cat Scratch, They're 94, Dead Boys or Trash Boys in a Dead City or whatever. And it would sound like that, more raw. You know, it would sound very similar.
Right.
The two bands would sound pretty similar, I think. You know, and
Yeah.
I just thought I wanted to run that by you because I know you like Alley Cat Scratch as well.
Yeah.
And
that was the perfect comparison.
Okay,
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, yeah, because I thought that the other day when I was listening to this album again. I'm like, man, I could really see if they would have just stripped it down, got more raw, or, you know, on this album, it would have sounded like a little bit like Alley Cat Scratch, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad, because I'm like, I might be alone on that, but I'm glad you think that as well. So
yeah, I do. 100%,
okay, cool.
Man.
Cool. I still haven't found that album for my collection physically, so I'm on.
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Good luck.
I agree. So, all right. So, yeah, back to the track listings here. We'll go back. We're on number 3 here now, Wild Angels, which sounds like one of your favorites. Anything else to say?
It is. It's a great song.
Yeah.
it's just listen to it. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, people love it. They've never heard it before. So,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Like some days I'll take, like I said, I Want to Be With You, and then some days I'll take Wild Angels. I like them both, like, a lot.
Yeah.
But, you know, I agree with you. There's something about Wild Angels that's a little more heartfelt, or trying to think of the right word. Maybe a little more passionate, not so mainstream, maybe, you know, not so like, oh, let's just get this ballad out, you know, gloss over ballads, just a smidge, you know. But I agree with you, though. Wild Angels is a good track. So you got the first 3 tracks are really, really good. That could have been singles, you know, very, very good. And then also we're going on here to the 4th track, 48 Hours, which is less than 3 minutes long, but it goes straight to the point. And I actually really like 48 Hours. That was like one of my favorite songs off the album even when I first bought it. You know, I'm a big fan of 48 Hours. I like that song a lot. You have any comments on 48 Hours?
No, you summed it up, man. It's pretty much straight to the point, quick song, you know, and you got 48 hours to rock.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
And
you know, that's what we live by. So, and that's like an anthem, you know. I love it.
Yep.
So, yes, moving on here to Toast of the Town, which is a cover of Motley Crue's song, Toast of the Town. Let me throw this at you here. Which version do you like better? Pretty Boy Floyd's or
Pretty Boy Floyd?
Do you?
Sorry. I like Steve's vocals on the song. That's
okay. Well, and I will say, for me, whether Motley Crue sings it or Pretty Boy Floyd, I'm just not the biggest fan of the song in general. So, but to me, I could listen to either one. Like if it comes on, I wouldn't necessarily have a true preference, but you know, it fits in this album well, though. I will say that it flows well with the album. Pretty much finishes off the first side of the album as well, and I don't have an issue with it being on the album. So, but maybe it probably won't make the cut like on the iPod for me, just because I hear so much from like Motley Crue fans, you know, just the song in general, and you know, like I said, just not the biggest fan of the song, no matter who sings it. So that's where I'm at on Toast of the Town. So basically, so far for me, you got maybe one track that doesn't make the cut for me off side one. I mean, you can't ask for a better first half to an album, you know. So we can move on here to the side 2 and hit Rock and Roll Outlaws. Tell me a little bit what you think about Rock and Roll Outlaws.
That's probably my least favorite song on the album. It's always a skipper, but I mean, it's just is what it is, you know. Rock and Roll Outlaws always on,
you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not listable, but it's like if I'm listening to the album, I'll listen to maybe a couple seconds of it and I'll just, you know, skip it, you know. So.
I hear you. I think I'm right in line with you. Like when I was going through this album again as a whole, I was like, I could kind of not need to listen to this album every time or listen to the song every
Right.
time I listen to the album. So
Right.
yeah, I'm kind of with you there on Rock and Roll Outlaws. Nothing hateful, but just like I said, probably not gonna make the cut, and maybe the weakest, like you said, on the album. So
Yep.
all right, so we can move on from that then. Track number 7, Only the Young. I'll let you take the floor on Only the Young here.
Well, only it's a good song as well. I mean, that could have been a single. You know, if I mean, it could have came out like maybe if they could have did it right, it could have been, you know, Rock and Roll and then Only the Young. You know what I mean? They could have put it out like kind of together as 2 singles. You know what I mean? But that song, in my opinion, could have been a single for them.
Okay, with a good video, I could see that. If you pair it with like a really, really good memorable video, I think as well that could have been really good for him.
Yeah, and that's another anthem song, you know.
Yeah.
So
I like I said, this song it wasn't originally on the iPod, but then when I revisited this album, I think this song will stay on the iPod just because I kind of looked over it, you know, the past 10 years or so, you know, but. Right. I like I said, I do like it. I'm kind of with you on that as well. I think we're seeing pretty much eye to eye with this album so far, so which is a good thing. Yeah, I mean, but then again, it doesn't make for that great of entertainment. But we'll see. Here we got a couple tracks here left. So go on to track number 8, The Last Kiss. What do you? This is Rock and Roll Outlaws is actually the shortest track on the album. This is the second shortest track on the album, The Last Kiss. So tell me a little bit about Last Kiss here.
Last Kiss is another skipper. Not a big fan of it. I mean, I like it live. I like the song better live than I do on the album. I'll just put it out there like
that's fair.
Yeah. So it's pretty much a skipper, but live, it's a good song.
This is borderline for me as far as keeping it on the iPod because I do kind of like the lyrics, you know, like it is like cute, like a cute story. Yeah, right. Yeah. When you're like young and in your teens, you know, you kind of it's more towards that. You know, if you're a teenager, then you kind of get the song more than say adults. You know, right. But you can always reminisce though with this song as well. You know, I went back in the younger years, but for me, this is just another okay. Like I said, it probably will make the cut onto the iPod, but you know, but it's not nowhere. It's nowhere close to anything off the side one. You know, so that's where we're kind of at with that. So moving on here to track number 9, Your Mama Won't Know, which I will say it is probably one of the better tracks on side 2 for me. I like
yes, you're right.
Like I said, good lyrics. You know, just most of these lyrics on these with these songs on this album tells a pretty good story. You know, most of the way through it. Now it can be quick and fun, but there is some life to the lyrics. You know, like to the storytelling. And I think also when you're looking at the album, you know, when you're looking at the album and listening to the album, it goes hand in hand, you know, and I think it works really well. So I'm cool with Your Mama Won't Know. Any additional comments on that?
No, I mean, it's pretty much it. It's a great song. I mean, I love it. One of my favorites. So. Nice. And there's so many versions of it, like remastered on like a couple of their other albums. Yeah, so it's still a great song.
I'll have to check that out. Because like I said, the only Free Boy Floyd stuff I know is this album, and like I don't even have anything off their newer stuff, their new album, their newer album, and you know, so that's gonna have to change here shortly. And it would have changed. It would have changed yesterday. But the show got canceled in Reading, so
it's low ticket sales. That's why it was canceled. That's bottom line. They didn't sell a lot of tickets, so they went ahead and canceled.
That's a shame because I know a lot around here, this side of Pennsylvania, No one buys tickets ahead of time. Everyone that I know doesn't buy tickets ahead of time. We just walk in basically, and it just, and I heard like the venue that it was at is kind of shady there too, so we don't know exactly the whole story behind that maybe, but yeah, it's just a shame.
Well, Steve didn't know it was canceled until I told him, and he was like, "What?" He didn't even know. Yeah, really? So I told him, and I screenshotted what Reverb said and sent it to him, and he didn't know that it was canceled, at all. And I was like, "That's crazy."
I wonder if Chip and the rest of the boys knew.
I don't know.
Damn. Yeah, that's kind of weird to me. Like a venue, the venue probably just did it on their own. They said, "Now that's probably what it was." Yeah, well, that sucks. So okay, let's finish up this album here. The final track, "I Want to Be With You." Go ahead, AJ. Tell me a little bit about it.
All right, so this has a video out there, and the video out there is like if you try to play it on Facebook or you try to play it anywhere on social media or anything, it's like half of it is banned from like other countries and other people seeing it. I guess from the record company. The video is great. It stars Josie Bissett from what's it called, Melrose Place. Okay. And she's in the video, yeah. And it was a great video. It's pretty much a great story. The whole video is great, and I'm sure whoever sees it can find it out there somewhere online. But it's like anytime you try to play it. Excuse me, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, okay. Is it the black and white version video? Is that the one you're talking? Okay, yeah. Okay, all right, I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah, so they just like completely, I guess, from the record company, it's like banned everywhere, and you can't see it. Only a certain amount of people can see it, or if they see it, and they usually cut the audio off, and all you see is the video. So it's weird. I don't know.
Really? Okay, I haven't taken notice of that. I'll have to see if I can find anything on that, or. Yeah, I haven't heard that story. I'm glad you brought that to my attention because I remember like when I first bought this album like 10, 15 years ago, I remember the video being out online then, but I haven't really looked, the last 5, 10 years or whatever it is. And so that's interesting. That is weird. I don't know why, because some things are like that too. Because I know on Fallen Angel's video, Poison's Fallen Angel, Ricky Rocket, I think, has a shirt and it's like blacked out or blurred out, and the bus is also blurred out as well. And I don't know on the original video. It's not, but like on the new uploads and stuff, it's blurred. I have no idea what that's about. I don't know if that has anything to do with kind of like what you're talking about, same type of deal. But yeah, very weird. But for me, I Want to Be With You. Like I said, it's just that ballad. If you want a ballad that sounds like 1989, this is probably one of the ballads that I would give to somebody and say 1989 right here.
Yeah.
So I like it. I like the chorus. It is, like I said, pretty glossy. Like overproduced maybe to an extent. But still very good, though. Still very good. Very digestible for mainstream as well. And that's what you kind of get a little bit of the both worlds. You get the digestible mainstream sound or production, and then you also get the edgy stuff from the band and the music down to the core, And so you got 10 songs that fill out this album, and for me, I would probably say at least a 3 to 3.5 out of 5. I just kind of wish that we would have got something else soon after this. I never heard a story. I don't know if you can help fill us in here. Ever heard a story on what happened to the second album, or what this was kind of it? Because I always kind of thought it always surprised me seeing that this came out in 89, because I always think 91 or 92 just because they didn't have nothing right after. Was there do you have any insight on that?
Just problems within the band. I mean, Christy and Steve like fight a lot, and then Vinny Chaz passed. Right. And then I mean, there was just a lot of problems within the band, and there's so many lineups of Pretty Boy Floyd for the past like 20 years. It's crazy. Like there's a new lineup right now out there touring. So I mean, Christy can't tour. I mean, he's going through some stuff right now, but he's still part of Pretty Boy Floyd. But there was just so much like turmoil in the band, and it's going on to this day somewhat. But I mean, it's not as bad as it was, but that's why it took so long for other albums to come out, you know?
Oh yeah.
So,
because that was kind of the thing, like we said in the opening, you just don't hear much about Pretty Boy Floyd and like their story and such. So like I had no idea what happened, you know, like I didn't know if it was just infighting, just the scene in general, you know, or what the deal was. But 1989, you're still somewhat in the middle of it. Like you're not too late. And it's just kind of a shame that they didn't get nothing out 2 years late in 91 or earlier. And I guess we'll kind of never know. But
well, I mean, they came out too late. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I mean, they formed in 87, but they came out too late in 89. That's along with like Danger is another band that came out too late.
Firehouse.
You know, exactly. They're part of that little click that
wave,
came out.
Like second wave that kind of killed it. That people say, which I totally disagree. But I think I prefer the second stage of bands, the second wave of bands from like 89 to 92 than I do 86 to 89 or 88.
Right.
You know? For me anyway. But I don't know. Yeah. So tell us, what would you grade this album for you? Out of 5.
I mean, it's Pretty Boy Floyd, man. It's 5 out of 5 for me, man.
Oh, okay.
That's just
you know,
it is, man.
You know, I'm a stickler because like I like a lot of stuff, and there's only like a few things that I will ever give a perfect score, you know, like a perfect 5 out of 5 or, you know, whatever. I don't know what it is. It's just how I grade things. I don't know. But like I said, it's a good album. Great. You know, like I always visit it. I'm glad it's in my collection. I'll pick up more Pretty Boy Floyd. But, you know, it's like I said, for me, though, I think the only negative for me is a little overproduced for me.
Right.
Like I would prefer, like I said, the Alley Cat Scratch type more rawness to it. I think it would have helped for me anyway, but that's my thought. And then for my top 2 songs off this album, like I said, 48 Hours probably is a 1-2 punch for me. And then the other song, maybe Leather Boys. I'll probably go there with 1-2 punch, my top 2 favorite songs on this album. If you want to tell us your top 2 songs on this album, go ahead.
Wild Angels, of course. Your Mama Won't Know.
Okay, all right. Going real deep there. I like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's not too much wrong with this album. So you could pretty much play any song and feel good about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that pretty much is gonna wrap up our review here. Thanks, AJ, for coming on the show, my man, again. And we will do some more reviews and some more countdowns as well. I'm thinking about doing some of that because you do have some knowledge. You do have a lot of knowledge on this era, and I like to see what you think of some countdowns and such. But that's for another time. That's for another time. And we want to give a shout out, even though we weren't able to go to see Pretty Boy Floyd yesterday. Shout out to Steve for keeping it alive, you know, keeping Pretty Boys. So younger generation like me can hopefully see you one day, you know. So that's the plan. That is the plan. So
yeah,
guys, let us know. Guys, let us know in the comments what you think about Pretty Boy Floyd's debut album. Do you like it? Don't you like it? What don't you like about it? What do you like about it? Let us know. We like to always discuss, and hear your thoughts. So I guess, guys, until next time, that's AJ. I'm Krash, and we will see you guys later.